guys, this is Hyper from DarkZero, and today I'm going to be doing a Zofia guide.
And they swept the half. That doesn't happen all that often.
No.
Oh my goodness! What? Hyper through the wall onto Merc?
The first thing I'm going to go over with Zofia is her attachments slash loadout. Obviously run the assault rifle over the light machine gun, in my opinion. Some people are weird on the light machine gun. For the scope, I prefer the 2x scope. I think this is preference. Whatever aspect ratio you're on might vary with what scope you prefer, but I like 2x. And then if I'm playing 4-3, either a reflex or hollow. The barrel I use is the flash hider. I think other people use muzzle brake, but I think the flash is just too good. The grip, I use the vert grip. I've used both before. The angle grip used to be pretty bad, but it's a lot better now, and it's a lot more controllable. So I think it's preference when it comes to, you know, what kind of engagements you take. You might prefer the angled over the vert grip, but nonetheless, both are pretty good. And then the last thing, I mean, obviously we'll go over the pistol real fast. Muzzle brake over suppressor, and then I don't know. Laser doesn't really matter. And then the gadget obviously doesn't really matter. Depends on what your team wants, or like what you're gonna get out of the round. Most of the time I'd run breaches because there's a lot more situations where breaches are more useful than clay, especially with Zofia. Zofia or Ash? I think this is a pretty hard question because usually most teams use them in tandem, but if I were to rather have one or the other on my team, I think I'd rather have Ash, just because of the recent buff. Having 3 Ash charges helps clearing everything, and then you also have that entry ability with Ash. The one thing you're missing out is the stuns, obviously. I think the R4C is pretty good, but honestly I think Zofia's gun is a little bit better. It's just a literally 2-shot body shot with that AR. So how does Zofia fit into the lineup? I think she fits in just fine. I think most teams perma run her, and I don't think that's a bad idea. Obviously there's some situations where, you know, you rather have Ash, or if Zo's banned you can't run her obviously, but at most teams perma run her, and you don't really have to give up anything, but you kind of just have one of your entries kind of play flex, whether it's the Ash player or the Zo, and then you have hard breach, and then flank watch. Usually that's your thatch / nomad. What role does Zofia play on DZ? So as of right now, Nick is playing Zo and I'm playing Ash, so I think it varies on a map to map basis who's entering, either the Zo or the Ash. I think naturally the Ash is going to be the entry over the Zo because she's faster, and she also has a broken hitbox, so it kind of helps entering like certain situations. So yeah, I think Zo's more of a secondary entry. How has Zofia's playstyle changed in the meta? Is she any less effective? So I think if anything, it just made her stronger because the meta shifted to a utility clear meta, and her gadget is literally utility clear. It also doubles as a like concussion as well, so that's really useful. If you stun someone with that cannon and then push them, there's a high chance you're killing them, just because the effect is so annoying to deal with. But I think she's stronger in this meta. That's why you're always seeing Zo Ash being played more so now than before. Specialty tips that you've picked up over the years of playing Zofia. So I haven't learned anything crazy with her, but one big thing is when you take your cannon out and clear something, and then you want to switch it to concussions and you put it back, or like if you clear with 2 impacts and then it switches but you put it back too fast and then you retake it out, it will still be on impacts. So you have to make sure the animation is full. You have to like fully change it. And then also, I mean, the cursor, well, the crosshair itself is different when it's on stuns rather than impacts, but there's a light on the cannon. I think it depends on your graphics settings. There's a light on the cannon. Red is impacts and green is stuns. So that's just I'd say is the hardest thing with Zo. It's not really that hard, but I mean the op is pretty easy. Also, one thing is her utility has drop off. I'm sure most of you guys know that, but if you shoot like a maestro cam really far away, you have to account for it dropping a little bit. And it's just something you have to keep in mind with Zo and just learn over the time by playing her. But I would say her cannon is the most tricky thing to use. But then again, it's pretty easy when compared to other ops. So all in all, I would say Zofia is like an S tier op. It is definitely worth mastering if you play that entry position, figuring her out, and then seeing what your preferences are when it comes to loadout. She's needed in almost all the comps because there's a lot of times where if you want to open a wall and someone's bandit tricking, you would EMP and then Zo stun, and it would prevent the bandit from putting down a second battery. So she's just really useful. I would recommend mastering her if you have the time and if you play that role. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the DarkZero YouTube channel and make sure to turn notifications on so you can stay posted with all our future videos.